Hi, welcome to my tutorial on Ohmygod, a VST plugin that's available on Computer Music Magazine or if you buy any of the Ohmforce bundles. Let's get started with some of the basics. First of all, when you load up Ohmygod, you should see the functional diagram. If you don't, you can simply click on the master fader and it'll come up. This area here is the functional diagram, and it basically shows you how audio is brought in, passed through a comb filter, which is then fed back. After that, the audio passes out through a distortion unit, and then through a multi-mode filter, and then finally passed out of the VST into your DAW. Some of the other basic features of Ohmygod is the ability to load banks of presets and save banks of presets, as well as store new presets to any of these 8 buttons. You can switch presets by clicking this drop-down box, or you can click on any of the 8 buttons. You can change the tempo. You can sync to the master clock. There's also the setup menu here with the typical information about the plugin. Here are some web links. You can load and save groups of settings, and you can handy your MIDI information. Let's continue looking at the basics by talking about presets. Presets can be changed by clicking any of these 8 buttons or by clicking on this drop-down box. You can load new banks of presets by clicking the load button, or save banks of presets by clicking the save button. So you're probably wondering how to create a new bank of presets. Well, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is tweak some controls, like I'm doing here. Then you would simply click the store button, and you'll notice that a red LED lights up. Click the button you want to store it to. Let's give it a new name. Press enter. Now if I click the 2 button, it switches to one of the default presets. But if I click number 1, it switches to my new preset. So all you'd have to do is repeat the process I did for all 8 banks, and you would have your own custom bank of presets. The last thing I'd like to talk to you about while we're on the topic of presets is transition time. Basically, transition time morphs one preset into another. It's controlled by the time parameter, which can be shifted up or down via this knob. You could also just directly click on it, enter the value, hit enter, and the plugin is updated. Keep your eye on the damping control as I switch presets. Notice how it's moving itself? That's a pretty cool effect. It's definitely good for giving your tracks a live vibe or a feeling of unpredictability. Just a couple other basics I'd like to cover while I'm at it. If you're seasoned with using VSTs, this may be a bit boring to you, but you might discover a little Easter egg at the end. Basically, I just want to make sure you know how to use the knobs, buttons, and sliders in Ohmygod. It's a straightforward affair of simply clicking on the knob and dragging up to increase a value and dragging down to decrease a value. Buttons are an on-off affair. Click it once and it will change its parameter. Click it again and it changes back. None of the buttons on Ohmygod have a third state. The master fader can be dragged down to decrease a value or up to increase. Seeing how it's the master fader, that means that you'll be increasing the volume, so you might want to keep an eye on the clip LED to make sure you're not overloading the audio. That Easter egg I was talking about is the fact that Ohmforce's plugins can modulate themselves. By simply clicking at the bottom edge of a knob, it will turn itself. The best way I've found to look at it is if the knob were a clock, you would either be clicking at 7:30 or 4:30 on the knob. This is really nice for creating smooth sweeps. And of course, if you know how to set up your DAW to record automation from a VST, this will be recorded. Now let's talk a little about LFOs. Ohmygod has a decent LFO section consisting of 10 waveforms and 2 knobs. One is for the period of the waveform, the other is for the amplitude. Amplitude is just another way of saying the amount that the parameter is going to be affected by the LFO. So with damping selected, if I turn up the amplitude, you'll notice that a little green LED lit up. This is to show you at a glance which knob is being modulated and which knob is not. You'll notice that there is no green LED at the master, which means it can't be modulated via the LFO, but it can still be modulated via automation in most major DAWs. Well, we've really only scratched the surface of what Ohmygod can do, but this was just a tutorial for the basics. I hope you've learned a little something, and I urge you to pick up Ohmygod either by getting Computer Music Magazine or by ordering any of Ohmforce's plug-in bundles.